Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I am Nzali, and this is Nzali Takes Africa. Thank y'all for joining me on Monday. I think Eastern Standard Time, it's about 2 p.m. Here in Ghana, it's 6 p.m., and the sun has gone down, so it's dark. Actually, let me show y'all. Let me see if I can show you. You see, it's nighttime here. I'm winding down while some of y'all are just getting your day started good. But thank you nonetheless for joining in with me. Before we jump straight into our topic for today, I want to give people a chance to come on in the room. While I do that, I want to play a nice little video clip from you. This is coming from my chapter, Gamma Alpha Sigma Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Let's take a look. All right, all right. So what you just saw was a very, very special raffle that my chapter is doing. It is a fundraiser that we're using to help us with our, as you know, Black Americans, the building fund, with our building fund for our organization. We are working to create a STEM academy in the Ashanti region. And every dollar, every pound, every shilling, every cedi, what else? Every rand, wherever you're watching from in the world, helps us with doing that. Not only are we building the school, but we also run a number of different programs throughout the year. We work with the Soul Empowerment Women's Network, where we do job readiness training for girls who have been trafficked. We also help out with DOFSU, which is the Domestic Violence Victim Service Unit here in Ghana, which is headed under the police department. And there's so many other things, right? Scholarships, boreholes, holiday giveaways, all of those type of things. Health screenings, free health screenings for the community. We do a lot of different things. So if you are a person who's interested in coming to Ghana, you are like, I don't know if I can afford that, almost $2,000 ticket. Well, if you're feeling lucky, then go ahead and buy a raffle ticket with us. Okay. Buy the raffle ticket. You might be the lucky winner for a free flight to Ghana. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because I know my sorors are always watching, always listening, and ever ready to be of service. And I know I have a great body of people who are subscribed to this channel who do believe in the same things that I believe in, which is being of service to mankind. So welcome. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. I hope that it was relaxing. If it wasn't relaxing, I hope it was productive and impactful. I hope that it was something that you enjoyed. And even if it wasn't, you got another weekend that's coming. So you can prepare your mind this whole week for the weekend that is to come. Also, if you are in the room, go ahead and drop in the comments. Let me know where you are watching from. I would love to know who's here. You can always drop your comments in the live chat. I can pull them up on screen, all of that good stuff. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you have not subscribed already, share the video, and you can now become a member of this channel. So what's going to happen when you are a member? Members get content early. Members also will have these workshop sessions with me live, where we'll go into some of the nitty-gritty details when it comes to traveling abroad, especially when you're talking about traveling in Africa. So if you're ready and you're willing and you trust me, go ahead and become a member. And if you just have general questions, you can always email me at nzalitakesafrica@gmail.com. All right. So today, I'm going to chat it up with you a little bit about just the preparation work that it takes for you to, prepare yourself to travel abroad. Now, this video, we're not going to talk a whole bunch about like all the vaccinations and the visa and all of those type of things, because those things are things you can literally Google online. Like you can go online and Google, you know, what vaccinations are required, what vaccinations are optional when it comes to traveling to any country throughout the world. So there's no point in us spending a whole bunch of time talking about that. Also, you know, we want to know about flight details. Well, that's what Kayak is for. That's what Skyscanner is for. That's what the different airline websites are for. They can tell you that. I'm going to tell you things that are a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more things you probably won't just find in Google search. Okay. Also, if you have additional questions, you can always put them in the comment section. I would love, love, love to hear what you all are wondering about and what you're thinking. So when we're talking about prepping to travel abroad, the very first thing is, of course, you have to pick your destination. Now, some people have messaged me, whether it be through Instagram or on Facebook, and they always say things like, well, I've been thinking about coming to Ghana, or I've been thinking about going to South Africa, or I've been thinking about going to Tanzania, or wherever the place may be, but I don't really know. And so this is what I always tell people. When you don't know where you want to go, but you know you want to go because you need a break, then the first thing I would do is, if you live in a metropolitan city, go and try out different restaurants that are geared towards different cultural backgrounds. So go to an Indian restaurant, go to a Peruvian restaurant, go to a Nigerian restaurant, go to a Senegalese restaurant. Like, go to all the different restaurants that represent a different country, different culture. See which food speaks to you the best. Once you have figured out, okay, out of all these places that I've tried, this is the food I like the most, figure out what group of people make that food, what country they're from, and then go and start to research that country. And the reason I say that is because I don't want to go nowhere where I'm not going to enjoy the food. Because if I'm not going to enjoy the food, I'm not going to have a good time for real. I'm going to have an okay time, but it ain't going to be as good as it could be. So try out different types of food, narrow in on a place that agrees with your taste palette, and then start to research the country. When you're researching the country, you're not just looking for what are the hottest tourist spots in that area. You want to look for like people relations, cultural differences. How do they treat women? How do they treat men? Where do they fall on the spectrum of acceptance for different types of people? What are the religious what is the religious background of majority of the people in that country? How do they treat people who don't agree? You know, is it a dictatorship? Is it a democracy? Is it a a communist country? All those things you want to kind of look at when you're thinking about research, not just they have 15 beautiful beaches. Because if you go to a place where there are beautiful beaches, but they believe that women should be covered from head to toe, you're not going to enjoy the beach anyway, because you're not going to be able to be in your little bathing suit taking your little cute Instagram pictures. So check out the food, start researching the country, narrow in on like people relations and how the country operates. I've also been seeing a lot in the media recently of women going into the Middle East and getting locked up, not because they're not abiding by the regulations there. When you're researching these countries, don't just look at the Instagram girls' reels. Okay, really try to find people who have spent a significant amount of time in those places so that they can give you accurate representation of what it's really like to be there. Because you don't want to go there and be arguing with somebody and then get put in prison for 3 months. Nobody wants to be locked up abroad. So be more diligent in where you're sourcing your information from and figuring out if it's really like good information. Okay. Again, if you are here in the chat, drop down. Let me know where you are viewing from. I would love to see it. Love to know where my viewers are. All right. So after you have kind of narrowed down your destination, you are for certain like, this is the place that I want to go. You don't have no more doubts. The next thing you really want to focus in on is getting your money right. And I'm going to say this one again because oftentimes, like, people will say, oh, because I know this place is cheaper, then maybe I don't need to take as much money or currency with me. And I'm going to say, you really don't want to look at it in that frame of mind. You really want to determine, like, well, number one, you want to determine if you're going to stay for a longer amount of time or a shorter amount of time, because that's going to influence your money, right? So let's say you want to stay for a longer amount of time. Okay, ask yourself, are you taking a sabbatical? What is the process for setting up a sabbatical? Are you going to take paid leave? How much paid leave time do you have? How much do you need to save up over the course of a year or so that you can have the time away paid that you really want to have, and not just a week and a half? Because it's nothing's worse than flying halfway around the world to only be there for 5 days, when you could have just, saved up your days more in the year and taken more time, right? Also, you want to ask your job if you have an option to work remotely. So some of us, your jobs will allow you to work remotely if it is by request, or if there's some like special circumstances that you can come up with to why you should be able to work remotely. So if your job is willing to transfer you into that space, then that also will give you more time to actually, let me pull this down a little bit, to actually be away. Okay, so if you want to do long-term stay, ask about sabbaticals, calculate your paid leave time off, and see how you can gather up more leave time for longer amounts of periods, and then ask about remote options with the current job that you have. The reason that I like these options is because these options are going to continue income coming your way, even though you're outside of the country. Okay. Now, if it's option number 2, which is you are, well, actually, it's not a completely separate option. It's like a, 2A or 2B. It's like a sub one under that. When it comes to getting your money right, I know a lot of us are living like paycheck to paycheck, or paycheck to health crisis, or paycheck to my car broke down, or paycheck to I'm not able to get overtime anymore. Whatever the circumstance may be, I know a lot of us are in those spaces, and that's a realistic outlook for some people. But does that mean you shouldn't have the option to enjoy your life and enjoy traveling? Absolutely not. So what I would encourage people to do is to start to think about how you can source extra funds to support your travel. So, Nzali, what do you mean when you say extra funds? What I mean is, what type of gig work can you do that will bring in additional funds that you can just tuck away? So you have your base salary that you're making that can cover your bills. Now maybe you pick up some gig work on weekends or nights that you can be tucking to the side for your travel. So when I say gig work, what do I mean? I mean, okay, maybe you deliver for Amazon. I mean, you can tutor on the side. I'm a teacher, so tutoring is very much so extra money, right? Or I'm going to, as an educator, I'm going to pick up teaching summer school for a summer to give me some extra money, to bring or to take with me for my travels. It could look like driving for Uber, driving for Lyft. It could look like any of those type of things that aren't like full-time employment or really even part-time. It's just as you go. That's what I mean when I say gig work. Now, if you have some type of specialty, like you're a photographer, you're a graphics person, you're a web designer, those are great. I don't really consider those so much. I mean, it could be gig work, but those you have to put in a little bit more effort because you have to actually pull in clients and you have to put in more effort to get those clients in. Whereas things like Uber and Amazon, those are kind of like ready-made. You don't have to do a lot of work outside of get logged into their platform. Hi, welcome to the channel. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm so blessed. So yeah, thinking about things where you don't have to go and fish out the clients as much. They just are kind of already made and you can just make money. Now, for my teachers, because I'm a former teacher, the reason I'm listing tutoring under gig work is because If you are a teacher, then you already have access to students. You already know what students you have that need additional support, what students you can offer those tutoring services to. It's not going to take much from you to do that. So that's specifically for my educators if you are looking at gig work. So number one, get real clear about your destination. I gave you a cute little tip as to how I do that. I also said step number two, getting your money right. Determining if you're going to do a long-term stay, how can you get your sabbatical on? How can you get paid time off in larger amounts, and being able to collaborate those together? How can you ask your job, set up yourself to work remotely for your job if that is an option? In addition to that, if you don't have all of that type of, maybe you're not working for a company that does all of that, how can you pick up some extra gig work that you can be tucked into the side for your travels? Because I'm a firm believer that money should not be the reason that people don't get an opportunity to see the world. I mean, who else is supposed to see the world if it's not humans? You know what I'm saying? Like, it is here for us to explore. That's why it was given to us. That's why we're blessed to be here. So we should explore. Now, in addition to the part of getting your money right, so this is like 2C. You want to check out the currency exchange for the places that you're trying to go. Typically in Africa, the currency exchange is quite large and it works in your favor. However, if you're trying to go off into some of the like countries where they have pounds and things like that, that currency is not going to necessarily work in your favor. So you have to prepare financially for that. If you're going to, let's say, I know a lot of people who go down into Costa Rica, into Central and South America, the currency usually works in their favor. In addition to that, you have to ask yourself, just because the currency sounds like it's a lot when it exchanges, what is the price of goods and services in that country? So for example, let's say you say, okay, I'm going to take 5,000 CDs with me to Ghana. Well, in 2023, what is this? The month of October, 5,000 Ghana CDs. If you're coming on a vacation or a long-term stay, maybe like a month, that's not really going to get you far. Because think about it. Let's say a restaurant. A nice restaurant here, you're going to spend minimum about 200 Ghana CDs. Minimum. So if that's the case, if you're spending 200 Ghana CDs on a meal, you only budgeted for 5,000 Ghana CDs. You basically only have about 25 meals that you can have at a restaurant. That's really not a lot. That's like 1.5 meals a day, right? So you only eat once a day. Is that what you want to do when you're on vacation? No, you want to do a little bit more, right? Or if you want to stay for a long amount of time, you're going to eat a little bit more. So just look at the average pricing of things. And that's something that can be Googled. Like you can go on Google and Google like average cost of living, that type of thing. And people will pull up, pricing of goods and services. So that's another part of getting your money right. Just because it sounds like it's a huge exchange doesn't necessarily mean it is. Another country where it'll trick you up with the sound of it is Nigeria, because Nigerians, it'll be like 17,000 naira, when really that's like a meal at KFC, right? But to you, it sounds like, whoa, I got 17,000. No. That 17,000 really, really isn't a lot. So when you're looking at your currency exchange, also look at the price of things. Okay, I have a question here from So Blessed. Would you advise to exchange money before travel or after you get to your destination? I advise you, if you can, exchange a certain amount before you get there. Meaning, let's say maybe you exchange like $200 before you get there. That's enough to where you can get yourself a SIM card so that you can talk on the phone once you're there. That's enough for you to be able to take an Uber to your hotel from the airport and for you to get a little meal, right? So I would encourage you to just exchange a small amount before you go. And then once you get there, you can get a better exchange rate. So like I know in Ghana, you can exchange in the airport. You also can exchange at Accra Mall. There are all sorts of little places that do Forex exchange, money exchange. First of all, Nigeria is the best place if you want to exchange money, because as soon as you step out of the airport, there are people holding watts of different types of currencies and they are ready to exchange and you can negotiate. Okay. I love that part about Nigeria. South Africa, I did exchange currency before I went, but you also can do it once you're there. Also, depending on the country that you're going to, you will, and if your bank regulations, you need to alert them that you're traveling, but you can also just withdraw from ATMs. And that might also be a cheaper option for you depending on your bank. So again, yes, exchange a small amount before you go. Then once you get there, you'll get a better rate and then you can exchange it in country. And I'm saying that specifically for Africa, because Africa, we're known to do a lot of currency exchanges face to face on ground type of thing. And you can always negotiate the rate. So you can go back and forth about, oh, that's too high. And there's so many people exchanging that they're in competition. So you really can negotiate your rate. Okay. And the bank rates in Africa are always way higher than, I guess you would say, black market, but the bank rates are always higher than everybody else. So once you land in Africa, you don't really want to exchange at the bank because you're not going to get the best deal. Okie dokie. So we talked about money. Now let's talk about this is something people overlook a lot, especially those who are traveling into Africa, and it's the weather. Okay, the weather. What season are you going into? In Ghana, we have a rainy season and we have a dry season. Dry season, there's no rainfall. It's very hot. It's dusty. Not that great for people with allergies. We have Hamatan, which is where it gets very, very hazy, a lot of dust. Okay, lots and lots and lots of dust. That's dry season. Now, rainy season, on the other hand, is literally like it can rain at any point, and it's going to be a heavy rain, and there might be some flooding. So, and then also in Ghana, people don't really like to go out and move about a lot when it's raining. So you have to determine if that's the season that you feel like is best for you. Ghana has a lot of natural scenery and sites. A lot of our tourist sites, you're outdoors, right? You're going to the beach, you're going to the Kakum National Park, you're going to on the safari up in the northern region, Mole Park, we're going to the waterfall. All of those things are dependent upon the season. You can't go to Kakum if it's pouring down raining. They won't let you up there. Okay. If it's dry season and there hasn't been a lot of rain, the waterfall isn't going to be as lush as you've seen it on the picture. So you have to know what season you're traveling in. For example, South Africa, their winter is in the summertime for the US. So you're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to go out to South Africa, June, July, August, while I'm on summer break, my kids are out, all of that kind of stuff. And you haven't packed a coat or a scarf. You're going to need one. You're going to need one. So always, always, always look up the weather. Look up the season in which you are going to that country, because I guarantee you that will highly impact your time in that country. Like I said, in Ghana, when it's rainy season, people don't even really go out like that. If it starts to rain, things start to shut down. People don't really want to move. It's harder to catch a taxi or an Uber. There's certain parts of town people don't want to drive into because they're known to flood. So it really, really, really can impact your enjoyment factor if you aren't paying attention to that. Now, before we go on to anything else, I want to tell everybody, like the video. It is free. Don't be on here stalking me. Just like the video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you can get updated when I go live, when I post new content. And something that's new to this channel, is the membership. You can become a member now. What do members get? Members are going to get content early. Members also get private, members only chats that I'll be doing, where I'll be going through very, very detailed steps and processes when it comes to this whole living abroad, traveling abroad, getting your stuff together to get ready to do that. And if for some reason you just want to ask me a personal question, you don't really want to do all the extra stuff, you can always email me, nzalitakesafrica@gmail.com. All right. So we done talked about how you can narrow down and pick the place and be comfortable with it in your heart and soul. We've talked about getting your money right. Like, do you need to take a sabbatical? Do you need to take leave? Do you need to ask for remote work? Are you going to do some extra gig work to help you bring in extra money? All of that kind of stuff. We also have talked about exchanging of money, knowing what the currency exchange is for the place that you're trying to go. Not only do you need to know the exchange, but you need to know average costing. Okay, you can always rewind the video and go back and listen to that part if you just came in. Also, if you just came in, let me know where you're watching from. Or if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat. Okay, so now, one of the biggest parts that I want to discuss before we head out of here today is this idea of intention. Everybody, when we're watching Reels, we're watching TikTok, we're looking at all the travel divas and gents, is it the bros with passports, the girls with get passports. We're watching all those people online. Y'all hear my dog? Sorry. So we're watching all those people online and we see how fabulous it looks. However, I want you to really think about, like, okay, what is your intention with this whole travel abroad thing? And the reason I'm saying that is because that will better help you prepare the activities that you're going to participate in once you're in that country. So if you are scouting, right? So when I say scouting, I mean, you're a person that wants to live abroad. So you're visiting different countries to see what's the biggest fit for you. Your itinerary is going to be completely different than a person who's there on vacation. Because the person who's there on vacation is going to go to the resort. The person who is there who's there for vacation is going to, kind of just hang out in the tourist spots. But a person who's scouting, you need to pick your Airbnb in a real neighborhood. So you can see what it's like in the morning and traffic is backed up. You can see what it's like when the power goes out. You can see what it's like trying to get a car from your neighborhood to the place where you think you're going to go and collect your groceries. Like, there's a difference in the task or the activities that those people were doing. Also, are you going for relaxation? Certain countries are not made for relaxation. Certain countries are not made for the soft life. Okay. Hi, Roddy. I see your question. I'm going to put it up after I finish this. So some places are not great relaxation places, and so you want to know what your intention is. Is it business? Does this place have a good business environment for the industry that you are a part of? If you're trying to do agriculture and you're looking at cocoa, Ghana is a great place. Ivory Coast is a great place. Togo is a great place. If you're into mining, most of Africa is a great place. But, just depends on what you're into, where you want to go. I think Tanzania is really good for coffee, right? So depending on the type of business that you're in, depends on where you want to go and if that's your intention is to do business. Another one, if your intention is for love, okay, you have to think about this. To be very honest, I think I'll do a video about love and relationships at another time, but at least in African societies, most people marry earlier. So if you're a woman that's 50 plus, 55, 60, and you say you're going to Africa for love, I side eye it sometimes because I'm like, who are you going to marry? The men who are 50, 55, 60 are already married. So you may not want to go to Africa looking for love if you are in that age category. right? Now it works out better for the men because women will marry older here, but for the women, you're going to put yourself in a sticky situation, right? So again, what is your intention for this travel? When you know that, you can better plan out your itinerary. You're able to make better connections, and your time there will be worthwhile. Like, I know when I went to Thailand, my whole purpose in Thailand was to chill and relax. And I literally, like, I would go wake up, go to the beach before the sun came up. I would watch the sun come up. I would watch the sun go down on the beach. And that was perfect for me. I would go and buy street food that was really cheap. I would get fresh fruit. I would go and get my little Thai massage. Like, my whole purpose there was to relax. Now, if I were going to Thailand to live, I would not have gone to Phuket. I wouldn't have stayed in the place that I stayed in, Bangkok. Like, I would have been more localized. So get real clear about your intention. That'll help you when you're preparing for this whole travel abroad experience or moving abroad experience. So Roddy, you says, I think you are asking me, maybe you could type it again. Are we thinking about marriage in these different places? People can, but again, it also depends on where you're going. Because I know I've had some friends, some sorors, some colleagues who have gone and worked in the Middle East. You can't really publicly date as a single woman in the Middle East. So if you're saying that you are looking for love and you're single and you want to go into some of those Middle Eastern countries, are you really going to be able to find somebody, and date in the way that you are used to dating? I don't really know. I don't think that's really going to happen. So that's something that you have to think about. All right. Any questions? I would love to take up some more questions that you all have about preparations for traveling or living abroad. This is the first of many, but I still would like to see what you all are thinking. Okay. While I'm waiting for some more questions to come on through, once again, I do want to plug my sorority, my chapter here in Ghana, Ghana Zetas. We are doing a raffle of a free flight to Accra, Ghana. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please, please, please let me know. You can always send me an email, nzalitakesafrica@gmail.com. I'm waiting for a few more people to drop some questions in the comment section. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to play you a quick little video that talks more about this raffle. All right. So I'm checking my comments one more time. I don't see any more questions. So that's fine. Those of you who are going to watch this replay, you can still drop your questions in the chat, and I will definitely make sure that I respond to those questions later. So again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, hit the notification bell so you stay up to date on everything that's happening over here. And if you are already a subscriber, then you can always become a member and join us for some of our exclusive membership chats. And if you don't already, follow me on Instagram at Nzali Takes Africa. You get to see more of my day-to-day life and what I'm doing here in Ghana. All right. Thank you so much for everybody who joined in for today's live. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you. So blessed. Thank you, Rahadi, for joining in, asking your questions in the chat. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace. Bye.